This video is part of the tutorial series created for the Texas Digital Library's Texas Data Repository, and based on a similar video set created by the Odom Institute. The Texas Data Repository is a platform for publishing and archiving datasets and other data products created by faculty, staff, and students at Texas higher education institutions. Special thanks to Texas A&M University Libraries for the use of their audiovisual suite. This part of the series shows multiple ways to manage permissions and restrictions in your Dataverse. I will first demonstrate how to set permissions at the Dataverse level, and then show restrictions and permissions at the dataset and file levels. If you want to set permissions within your Dataverse, you would click on the Edit button, and then select Permissions. The first type of permissions you can set up for your Dataverse is defining who can do what within the Dataverse. If you click on the Edit Access button, you will see the various options. First, you decide who can add what to the Dataverse, from requiring everyone to be given access, or a closed Dataverse, to a completely open Dataverse in which anyone can add datasets and dataverses. You then decide on the default role for individuals adding datasets, either a contributor who can create datasets but they must be submitted for review and published by a Dataverse administrator, or a curator who has full editing and publishing rights. To assign specific roles to individuals or groups within your Dataverse, you would click on the Users and Groups tab and click on Assign Roles to Users and Groups. The roles you can assign to users or groups are outlined under the Roles tab, which details the permissions each role has, from an administrator, who can do pretty much everything, to a member who can view unpublished dataverses and datasets and download files. Now let's take a look at how you restrict and give permissions within a dataset. I'm going to show this on the dataset that I created and published in the previous Publishing Datasets video. Within a dataset, if you want to add restrictions to files, you would first select the files you want to restrict and then click on Edit Files. Now you can see all the ways you can edit a file, from deleting to modifying file level metadata and restricting the files. If you click on Restrict, you are prompted to add some terms of access so people know what they need to do to gain access to these files. You can also click the Enable Access Request button if you'd like users to be able to request access through the Dataverse. We'll enter our data use agreement and click the Enable Access Request button and then continue. Now you can see that a lock appears beside the restricted files. It's green if you're an administrator of the Dataverse, but everyone else will see a red lock. In order for the restrictions to take place, you must publish your dataset. To grant permissions for your dataset and files, you would go back up and click on the Edit button and mouse over Permissions. At the dataset level, you can give individuals certain roles, just like at the Dataverse level. If you want to give a user access to download all restricted files within a dataset, you can give them the role of File Downloader. To give access to individual restricted files, you would need to go back to Permissions and select the file. And then from this screen, you can grant access to users and groups by adding the user group name and selecting the file that you want to grant the user access to. Every time you create these new restrictions, you have created a new version of the dataset that also needs to be published. Thanks so much for watching. To learn more, check out our next video on customizing your data.